So let's just start with the introductions. Just tell about yourself, tell about your company, and why you're here tonight. And you have a microphone near Crystal on your right. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to start. I'm Yardley. I'm a Chief Product Officer here at Thrive Global. We actually started at San Francisco Presence 7 months ago, and we're building out technology products that you and I would use to actually drive behavioral change. I would say the reason why I'm here tonight are a few things. One is I strongly believe in diversity, right? I'm also co-founder for Women in Product, which is a nonprofit organization with 12,000 members to date in the last 2 years for product managers and product builders and founders. And secondly, you know, working at Thrive and my love for diversity, I think this is like really important for me to be here to really help in whatever way I can to help all of you all in establishing and finding the career that you really find joy in and that you really feel like it's really moving your mission in life forward.
Hi, I'm Crystal Oh. I'm the co-founder of Picked. It's a social platform that helps you make smarter choices for healthy living with the help of friends and experts. And one of the reasons I'm here tonight is that I feel like the community that is starting to be really aware of how decisions that you make when you purchase something can really impact both not only your health, but also the sustainability of the earth and the community. And so I want to really leverage this, you know, the power of technology to help us really make better decisions and help each other make the best decisions. As a woman in tech as well, I want to help this community really guide each other in the decisions that they make in their careers, because, you know, I've had a fairly meandering kind of career path, and so I'm happy to help anybody who has questions on what they're trying to do as they're making these decisions as well.
Hi, I'm Holly Shelton, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of MoveWith, which is an online fitness platform that connects you to top wellness and fitness coaches, creating classes and programs for your body, mind, and soul needs. And I'm here, I'm very passionate about this space. I'd love to help anyone who's excited to move the needle in healthy living, find the careers that are right for them. And also because Daria is an amazing networker who has connected a lot of awesome people. So really I'm here because she's here.
Hi everyone, my name is Yuting, and I'm product designer from MyFitnessPal, also part of Under Armour. And tonight I'm here because I'm really excited to connect with the people, and also people from diverse group. And also I think as a peer, maybe I can share some of my experience for whoever who just want to enter this field and maybe have some takeaway from there and just be happy with everyone. Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Jaleh Bisharat. I am the co-founder and CEO of Naked Poppy. Naked Poppy is a new clean beauty company. What we do is, everyone knows what clean beauty is at this wellness event, correct? It's makeup that's free of harmful chemicals, much safer for you. What we do is we vet clean beauty brands to make sure that they're absolutely fabulously clean, and also that they work really well. Those two need to come together. And then we have a data science-based algorithm that recommends what's going to look best on you based on your personal characteristics. My background is that I'm the former head of marketing, VP marketing, CMO at companies you've probably heard of, like OpenTable and Amazon and Upwork. And my passion is to take ideas and concepts from inception and build them into brands people know and love. And so Naked Poppy really is a passion project for me. The reason I'm here actually is because when I was 17, I grew up in Iran. When I was 17, I got on a plane and came to this country by myself. And I still remember what it was like to be young and, you know, trying to make my way and trying to improve myself. And I feel really, really fortunate to have had such an interesting and fun career. And I, you know, think the least I can do is share what's worked with other people trying to do the same. And so I'm excited to see everyone here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I know that every single journey is so unique, and especially like how people end up in health and wellness or beauty industry. It's really interesting because many people come out of personal challenges or personal passions, personal stories. So the next question would be, how did you end up in the industry that you're in right now? And what maybe life events, encouraged you to be who you are and to be in the place that you are right now?
So how I ended up in beauty, clean beauty. So I don't think of what I do so much as beauty as the intersection of health and beauty. I would have never started a makeup company. What I'm interested in is the fact that so many women are unaware of the fact that what we put on our faces, it's not just what's on our face, but what we swallow on our lips and what goes in near our eye can actually affect our health tremendously. It's actually second only to what you eat. It might be just as important as what you eat. I mean, what's in makeup can disrupt your endocrine system. It can affect your reproductive system. It can even cause cancer. And I don't mean to be alarmist, but that's the fact of it. No new legislation has been passed of any note since 1938. So for me, this has been a personal passion project for many years. I joke that I was the very first customer of Whole Foods when they started carrying clean products. I don't know if that's true, but somehow I learned about this, and it became just so incredibly important to me to share. People used to always ask, I will tell you this, recruiters and stuff, like, you've been a VP of marketing forever, don't you want to be CEO? And the answer was always no. I didn't have that need. But when I started thinking about this idea with Naked Poppy, I literally could not let it go. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep without thinking about it. I would go around all day and look at women and wonder what they were wearing. So it really felt like a profound calling, and that's why I ended up doing it. I dropped absolutely everything else to focus on Naked Poppy, and then found my co-founder, who, thank God, is a data scientist, because she's the one who built the algorithm.
So I work for MyFitnessPal, and for people who don't know, it's a calorie counter and a nutrition track app. And the reason end up working there is like everyone using the app. Everyone's trying to lose weight. And I have gone through that journey in school, and I have seen myself have very bad relationship with food, and trying to don't know anything about nutrition, trying to figure out what to eat and what to work out, and then go to those fad diets, like low carb and also low sugar, and then just make myself hungry all the time. And after going through that journey, I figured out nutrition and knowing what you need, eat, and what's the nutrition within that. The knowledge is very important, and I feel very passionate working in MyFitnessPal and trying to help people learn what they eat and also eat better.
Let's see. So for me, I spent most of my career in technology. I was an engineering undergrad, spent a lot of years working at various tech companies, but my passion has always been fitness. I grew up as an athlete, and I think I'd been searching for a way for a long time to find an intersection of my passion for technology and my passion for wellness. And specifically when I left athletics, it was the first time in my life where I felt unmotivated to stay active and fit. And so I felt like I wanted to find something that helped motivate people intrinsically to show up for themselves. So that's how I ended up here.
So I was at LinkedIn as a product marketing manager back in 2010 to 2012, so right before the IPO, and that's where I met my co-founder. He was an engineer on the same team in content community. So it was very much of a tech kind of role, but I was fascinated with the ability of social media and also the professional network and the reputation that you could build in a social network and what that could do for somebody. But my personal passion in health and wellness came when I really had digestive issues all my life, was incredibly sick as a child, and then through the recommendations of a friend, decided to go on an elimination diet, went to a naturopath, and really changed around my entire outlook on health and food. Learned so many things that I wanted to share with people. Now people come to me asking for advice on how they can improve their health. And so I realized I wanted to create this platform as the intersection of my background in technology and the social platform and professional network, and really cross it over with this newfound passion of mine and really make an impact for people. So that's how I landed in this.
That's awesome. I must admit, when I learned about this opportunity, I think unlike most of you, you mentioned you had this passion already innately when you started. I was unaware about my passion. I had been very busy throughout my career. I actually was on maternity leave with my second child, and I also co-founded a women product while having a full-time job at Zillow. So I was just almost too busy to think about myself and prioritize my own health and wellness. But what I did learn through being a mother is the importance of work-life integration and being able to set aside time and prioritization for my family and work. And when Ariana found me during my maternity leave and talked to me about this opportunity, I fell in love with the idea of bringing what she's been preaching with Thrive, and how she's talked a lot about mindfulness and behavioral change, and how easy it is with micro steps that take less than a minute to do, that are too small to fail, to millions and millions of people. And to take on that additional challenge in a tech format where our goal is to help you unplug from technology, but using tech products to do that, I thought, wow, spending 20 years in tech and actually take on a challenge like that from a product and a mission, and also where I am in my life stage, to be able to relate to the mission, that combination was just so unique in itself. And very grateful for this opportunity. And I must say, I've never been so happy in my life and my job and life. So it's worked out very well.
We are really lucky to have the women who had incredible careers in corporate setting, really astonishing ones, and we also have startup founders here. So this is the awesome combination. And I'm wondering, what are the top personal qualities and professional qualities that you have and that helped you to become who you are right now professionally? Jaleh.
It's kind of an awkward question because I don't, I would say if I had to name one thing, it's what I would call focused curiosity. And by that I mean I'm extremely curious, and I like to let my curiosity thrive. But in a way that's not so all over the place that it's, that you're just learning so much that you're not taking actionable steps. So some of this has to do with this notion of being a constant student and always learning new skills. But I would say what I'm most curious about, that probably has served me the best, is about customers, and not what they do, but why they do it. There is nothing I really love more than talking to customers one by one in a focused way to understand. I think to be really, really good at putting out an offering, or let me say it this way, I think great marketing happens when a customer says, this brand or this company understands me. Have you ever had those moments where you think, they got me, they totally got me, I want to be part of this? And so you want to get to a point where you can finish her sentences. Literally, you know who your customer is, and you want to be able to finish her sentences. And so I think having that kind of curiosity has allowed me to be able to finish her sentences and be successful in my career as a result. The one other thing I'd say about curiosity, and then I'll pass the mic, is I think it's also really important to be curious about your team. Curious about, to catch the body language and to see how they're feeling and why they're feeling the way they're feeling. Not only people who work under you, but also your peers, because nothing makes a company more successful than a highly motivated, externally focused team that's sort of stress-free and humming well internally. And just, like the perfect job is that job where you say, I don't even feel like it's a job. It doesn't even feel like work. And the way you achieve that is by having teams that are truly happy. They can be different, they can debate ideas, but every day they walk out feeling personally happy. So you have to have a lot of curiosity about people and what makes them tick and what's working and what isn't in order to help nurture that.
I think for me, comparing to all the ladies, I am still far away to say like, where am I today? But I'm pretty happy with what I do. And the reason happy am I do, I think I'm a designer, so like, of course, the design craft stuff. But on the other side, I think it's that I'm leaving the work that I'm working on. So I'm creating the products that I actually want to use and I'm actually very excited to use. And besides of that, I also think empathy for me is really important, especially being in this nutrition fields, people are super sensitive, talk about their diets. And we actually do a lot of user panels in our company, and then we invite successful users who lose more than 100 pounds to our office and talk about their life transitioning. And every moment I was sitting in the panel or leading the panel and then talk to those users, see their life being changed, it gives me energy and feel like, wow, this is what I'm doing and they are doing really well and I want to incorporate that also. Not just feel happy for my work, but also bring something from work to my life that I can incorporate and do well. And that makes me really happy and that makes me really motivated to do more, create a more good experience for people who want to achieve their goals.
That's awesome. I agree it's a little bit of a hard question, but I think for me it's less about my unique attributes and more about experiences. When I was working at Apple, I once was talking to one of the industrial design engineers and I asked him what it was like to work on all of the various versions of Macs and iPods, and he said it felt just like one continuous product, actually, that was just constantly evolving. And I kind of feel like my career is much like that, and every experience leads me to something else, and it's always having that growth mindset in everything that I'm doing. So, ski racing taught me resilience, failure, being very comfortable with failing and getting back up. Engineering taught me an analytical mindset to be data-driven. Working at Apple taught me storytelling, and everything that I do is kind of now this combination of all of these experiences that I've had that continues to lead me to something that I'm not quite sure what it will be, but it's always been great.
I would say being in product and product marketing for many companies like not only LinkedIn, but also LearnVest, and I was also a product consultant for Teen Vogue for its relaunch. I think being able to wear many hats is extremely helpful. So, being conversant with the technology team, engineers and so forth, designers, and being empathetic to users and customers, and then having a business mindset as well. And so really it's about empathy, not only with your team, but also with the final customer, to really, really understand that you're not just selling a product, you're really getting to know the people. So that's, just having a people mindset and being able to connect to them on all levels is really important.
I think that's a good question. And I think I relate a lot to what Holly just mentioned, because I do have, looking back on my career, I think I was always pleasantly surprised where it led me. I wasn't very much a planner and saying okay, in 5 years, I definitely want to do this. I was more interested in the skill sets that I would learn every step of the way. And I oftentimes look at it as an analogy. We all understand candies, the concept of candies. And as children, if you remember, when you first got introduced to candies and you really wanted to have all sorts of different candies, and if your parents said, hey, let me take you to a candy shop and you can pick all the candies you want, you would be so excited, right? But at the end of the day, if you did go through that, you would just be so full and you feel sick. So I actually use that analogy to my career, and I've used it for a long time, since I was 19. when I thought every new job seems so shiny and every opportunity seems so amazing, but I need to hone in on what candies, what skill sets I really want to get as I walk into each store. So I'm very mindful about that. And so I would say periodically I would check in with myself every quarter or every half a year and saying, like, were the original skill sets that I was hoping to obtain coming to fruition? And if not, you know, should I be like picking up my baskets of candies? Because whatever I learned along the way, those skill sets, those candies are with me. I can like walk up and like go to another store, right? If I'm not finding them in my current place. So I think that metaphor and that analogy has always carried me through. And in terms of the one thing that I would say, and my teammate Corinne is here and she knows this, is I really focus on efficiency. Rather it's like time, energy. If you think about it, the only currency that you can't really create more of is really your time and energy. So this is like finite amount of resource you have. And so you need to be wise in how you're spending that. Rather it's ruthless prioritization in which I really developed that skill set because of product management, or is it like scaling? Is it asking for help? Like if you spend 6 hours trying to research an issue and you can't find solution, do you want to quickly, maybe at the 3-hour mark, ask somebody for help? Think about that. Think about like your finite resource that you have and how do you make yourself efficient and move forward. I think that's really key in all aspects of your job and no matter what you're doing. Do you have a microphone?
Thank you so much. Next question I want to ask to all of you, like who is now in the health and wellness or beauty industry, currently working? Okay, who want to work in this industry, kind of like in this? Okay, and how many people work right now, like any job you work, and then you want to transition to this industry? Interesting. And all other people, are you working or want to transition? Okay, so it seems like we have audience split, like people who currently work and people who want to transition. And in terms of especially like San Francisco, I think like when I first came to San Francisco, I didn't find like any health and wellness companies at all. So that's why I created my organization, because I couldn't find any. And my next question for the panelists would be like, what would be your advice for people who want to transition to health and wellness industry? And like where to start, what to do, how to apply current skill set to like a new industry? What would be your advice to people who really want to do this change?
Sure, we'll start in the middle. Good question. Well, so I guess first and foremost, I would say be a user and get really curious about what it is that you're passionate about. Use products, have opinions, and develop those. And then I think the second thing that I would say is that if you have a functional expertise, it's probably very relevant for any fitness or wellness company. And so if you're able to go deep in something and you have a strong opinion, you're going to be valuable in that industry. And then, of course, networking, being here and really getting smart on the space and what's happening. That would be my advice.
For me, I think since I'm in design, if anyone like interested in this area, I think for me, I always try to improve 3 areas. The first one is focus the craft of designing. What are you good at? What are you gonna do? And this is a really long time journey, but I will constantly go back and check how I'm doing every time. And the second one is since I work with a very cross-function team in tech companies, so I always be mindful to develop my product and business knowledge. And the third one would be, like she said, be a user and always develop the empathy, either is doing what you are working on or actually talk to people or go to their home, see what they're doing, and keep a record of the problems that you find that you want to solve while you're doing that. I think that's been helping me a lot. And the last one, just in general, not specific to my role, is I think I try to do basic things really good. And I think A lot of time people get like overlook those small details, they being running a little bit late for meeting, or they don't do very good documentation for their work. But I find if you do those, it wasn't really hard to do something really good, but you just need to do the small things really well. And I find it will beneficial a lot of people that I work with, and they really appreciate those small things. So that will be my.
So I'm going to answer this with an example. Look no further than our moderator. So 2 months ago, I received an email from Daria, and I'm going to share what she said. I'm sorry to embarrass you, Daria, but it is so compelling that I thought we could all learn from this. I get this email, random email. Yeah, I brought it. I wanted to share this. So, she basically starts by saying, I recently bumped into so-and-so, and I thought I would reach out, someone we know in common. First of all, now think about how she approached me. I'm so inspired by your energy and life attitude. I read a couple of your articles at Entrepreneur. So she's done her research on me, or the co-founder of the company. I just took the quiz on Naked Poppy's website and enjoyed the whole process. Secondly, she's taken the time to actually go through and do what you said, which is be a user, really check it out. So I keep reading, right? This is not the only person who's ever emailed me, but she got my attention. Now, secondly, you're looking at the, I'll tell you. I'd love to invite you to a natural beauty and pampering pop-up event that I'm hosting on a certain date. We have a full house, but there's a special discount code already applied, and a link for you. So what is the second thing that Daria did? She did something, she gave something of use, but also she demonstrated that she's qualified. She's out there in this space, doing work, earning her credentials, developing her qualifications. So she really has my attention. Then she says, third, and in the most lovely way, I'm looking forward to the next step in my career. And I just wanted to talk to you. I don't know what stage you're at, but I'm flexible, and I would like to explore options. And I got to tell you, I loved that too. Because she wasn't saying, here's what I want. She was saying, I've researched you, I've researched your company, I'm qualified, look at this event I'm putting on. I've invited you to this event, which I was interested in. And finally, I want to figure out what's best, not only for me, but for your company. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I'd like to echo that. If you reach out to your network, you're sure to find people who are in the industry that you want to be in. I came from tech and I wanted to be in health and wellness, had no background whatsoever in that. So I went to conferences, events. I scanned my network of contacts on LinkedIn, through my business school contacts at Wharton, where I went to business school. And so, really just setting up coffee chats and saying, this is what I'm interested in, I'd like to get some advice. Also doing your research, of course, really, showing that you've engaged and you're not just setting up this meeting without having done your research. And then what you can bring to the table. I'd love to help you with this, and what can I do to also assist you with something. So I think all of that's really important in creating authentic connections with the people who are already in your network and can give you some help or advice in the industry that you want to be in.
Yeah, I echo all of that, but I would also say, and it depends. So if you're interested in tech, and especially those that are founders, I would go to the venture capital firms that you really think that or have a focus in health. I mean, there are tons of them, and there are tons that are international as well, so you don't have to just focus domestically or local. But if you're able to get a connection or two in these VC firms, they see so many startups. I mean, you're undoubtedly going to get connected to someone somewhere in some industry that you're going to be interested in. So I usually generally try to go look for approaches where I could go to that one central place, and then how would then scale. And so in this answering this question, again, going back to efficiency for me, it's much more about all right, if I can get a connection with a VC firm, then it's easy for me to get plugged into a lot of the startups in the area. Especially the large VC firms, they have dedicated partners or even associates, whoever, that are focused in health. So you might be as well start there. There's tons of them here locally.
And Yardley definitely knows what she talks about because she's a scout for Sequoia.
Yes, I am.
For Sequoia Capital. So yeah, like this advice, like 100%. Yeah, thanks, Jaleh, for this example. I didn't know that, like, Jaleh, maybe 10 minutes before the panel started, she was like, Daria, don't you mind if I, like, share example about you? I'm just, okay. Yeah, now we work together with Jaleh. So yeah, thank you so much for all your examples. I hope those are valuable and you still have an opportunity to ask questions when the panel is over. And the next question would be a little bit like, out of the normal scale, like what's your dream? Like what do you dream about? I know I haven't sent you this question. So surprise. What is your dream? What are you dreaming about? Not professional, like what is your dream? Like what are you so excited about that you can consider your dream? You can opt out from this question because sometimes it can get really personal, but you know, last time, like recent times, I was thinking like, people sometimes they just, you know, don't have dreams, like really big dreams that move them forward. So, and I was asking myself, like right now I don't know what is like my big dream. So I'm really curious to ask you if you have one, so we can all be inspired by that.
Yeah, I mean, that's, again, a good question. And honestly, the answer obviously differs by each individual. I think at the current snapshot in time, 40 years old, been operational again for 20 years, 2 loving small young sons, 1 and 4, and the dream job that I never thought I could have, and the nonprofit organization, I would say, and of course friends and family, and that's not last, but like everything is just fitting really aligned right now as we started 2019. And so when I think about my dream, my personal dream is much more impact back to like the community or to the world. And it might sound broad, and it is because I don't know exactly what that is yet, but it's no longer really inwardly like looking at myself and it's like, what is that my next dream job? Like,
it's really hard after Arianna Huffington's, you know?
I would just say, I think after 20 years of working really hard, you know, at like Apple, eBay, Yahoo, at startups like Trulia that went public and, you know, all these different companies in tech, I'm not at the point in my life where I'm like, okay, I want to go and completely go like close shop, move to like, you know, Europe and like start a coffee shop. It's not like I have that kind of dream. Anything that I do now is much more for like the future generation, whether it's like for my own sons or for all of you or like, you know, women, different stages of their career, particularly our founders. So that's why I go back and invest in them. So I would say in broad stroke, at least a snapshot in time, maybe you can ask me a month from now, it might change a little, 3 months from now, but my dream is much more like impact to the world. And I would say second part of that, I think it is really timely on what like Arianna's done with Thrive. Like the whole movement around always being on your phones, always being plugged in, always like there's a huge FOMO, like you can never get rid of all these apps on your phone, like it's always right there. And when I have those moments where my 4-year-old comes to me, I believe it was like, you know, over the weekend, it was like, Mommy, I just like want some of your time. You know, and I'm already very mindful, but for him to notice that the phone is like that thing that accompanies me and doing what we're doing, and it wasn't I was working, I was just like looking at Instagram. I was like, you know, reading the news on my phone because I'm not reading newspapers anymore. You know, it doesn't matter exactly what I'm doing. It's just that notion of the phone, we're always with it, not being present with the people in the room. I think that's like very, very timely. And for what we're trying to build, and you know, we just talked a little bit about this and we're gearing up for product launch, you know, it just makes me feel like this is a part of my dream, like a part of the future, being able to teach people and the different generations. You don't have to make big movements to unplug with technology. It's just those micro moments, micro steps, you know, just how to bring it back to like what you're experiencing here in a life event?
I think as a startup founder, and I'm sure you guys can relate to this, is you make a lot of sacrifices to do what you to really make manifest what your vision is. And so my dream is that it will actually have a huge impact on the world. And recently I was reading this book by Dr. Mark Hyman. I think it's this new release about how your choices in food impact your health, but also the earth and sustainability, welfare of animals and so forth. And this part about what factory farmed animals eat was really, really shocking to me. I already had a lot of knowledge, but it was literally the details around how candy was given to livestock, sometimes in its own wrapper, defective candy that wasn't made fit for humans to consume, but was now given to livestock, which you then consume, and you are literally what you eat, but more importantly, you're what you eat and what they eat. So reading this was shocking, and I really hope in my dream that one day, consumers will have all of this knowledge and that they will be pushing for change rather than, what corporations are trying to push for their bottom line. So, that change comes through the choices that consumers make rather than what corporations are deciding through, giving value back to their stockholders.
Such a good question. And I love what you said. Yeah, I think if you'd asked me also like 2 or 3 years ago, my dream was to start a company and have these meaningful jobs, which I've done a lot of as well. And I think I still have a dream of continuing to build things that enable people to live better, which is very broad, but also like for me, it's really about making an impact. But I think personally now when I think about my dream, I've spent my entire life dreaming, and every time I get to that next thing, it's like, okay, now what's next and what's next? And so I think for me, it's really about stopping and really just absorbing the present and living life and having life be about more than just me and my kind of immediate sphere and what I'm doing. And I don't know what that looks like yet, but really starting to stop and notice.
For me, I think, so it's work related, and I think it's really meaningful. MyFitnessPal got purchased 3 years ago by Under Armour, and you guys know Under Armour's image is always masculine, athletic, you hardly think about women or those side when you talk about Under Armour. And on the contrary, MyFitnessPal's users, 75% are women, and they are trying to lose weight. And so I think I'm very passionate about the connections, and also all of MyFitnessPal users are different sizes. And when you go shopping on Under Armour, all the models look the same. They look fit, they look not real, they don't have a head. So the dream would be really we want to push inclusive sizing and also have more diverse images to be. So now MyFitnessPal is part of Under Armour. I really wish the stream and our user, the love for our brand, can also develop to Under Armour. And I think the success of the stream would be one day people from our community, from our successful stories will be featured on this website, be a model or something. That will be really something that I was looking forward to.
Those were all lovely. And I share a lot of it. I guess if I'm being really honest, I would say I have one dream on a global scale. You asked us a dream, and one on a local. I think it's because I'm Iranian. I'm married to a Palestinian, and so I'm very, very conscious that this conversation that we're having here would be so different in other countries, like where I come from. So I really, it almost brings tears to my eyes to say this, but I dream of a day where people could be gathering, women could be gathering like this everywhere, and know that if they work hard and better themselves, that they can advance, and that society itself doesn't, or that the world order doesn't prevent you from being successful. Like, we're so fortunate to be having this conversation. Do we like our jobs? Do we want to switch jobs? Which VC should we contact to find out which company is hot? You know, I mean, we are in the 1% to have that conversation, and so that's one. I suppose on a more local level, things I can control better. I also share a lot of what's been said so eloquently about, you know, when you go to work every day, you want your work to matter. You want it to have impact. You want to have purpose. You want to know that what you're doing actually does help someone be more healthy or more well or more fit or beautiful without contaminating themselves. The thing I would add to that, though, that is important to me is, for years I've had thoughts about culture, work culture, meaning here's how this company ought to operate. You know, is there a reason why so many people don't love their jobs? So I feel really excited to finally, and I believe that culture is set at the very top. Whoever the CEO is gets reflected all the way through the organization, and department heads too. The CMO has a big impact, the CPO has a big impact on their team, but it gets set at the top. So to me, it's really an exciting and a privilege to be able to put those thoughts into action. I dream of a company where we have many, many people coming to work every day saying, this doesn't feel like work, I can't wait for Monday morning. We'll see how that unfolds, but that's the dream.
Thank you so much. I think all those comments and advice are very, very valuable for everybody. And we came to our last question. And the last question will be a little bit personal about your wellness routines. Like, you all work like super hard because you're building your dreams, and maybe you're living your dreams already. So what are the routines that keep you going? Maybe we can start with
I think it was Tim Ferriss who said, you know, the way you start your morning is the way, you know, your day is going to go. So if you master the morning, you've mastered the day. I do believe that's true because you have the most energy in the morning. So I've tried to really develop a great health and wellness routine in the morning. So I wake up and I meditate first. I do yoga for at least 10 minutes. Hopefully I have 20 minutes to do a proper routine. Even better if I can go to a class. I drink water with lemon, which actually helps your liver clear everything out and you know, just like start everything, you know, fresh. And then I have warm water, like room temperature water after that. I hopefully have done some intermittent.
Right about this on Thrive Global.
Right, yeah. If I can manage, intermittent fasting is super great, so then I can wait until, you know, a little bit later to eat lunch. But if I'm really hungry, I'll have a little bit of a light breakfast with fruit and so forth. And then I do a little bit of exercise, whether it's cardio or some strength, you know, just like a very light, like strength kind of push-ups on the floor. But once you have that, in literally like an hour, you've mastered the morning, and therefore you've mastered the day.
No, go ahead, add to it.
Actually, I'm going to add to it because that's, yeah. I'm actually chuckling because that's my morning routine too, with one exception. She can write it. She said it first. The intermittent fast at first I thought was absolutely nuts, but I kept hearing and you know, is this a fad? But I kept reading good things about it, so I decided to try it. And I will say the best thing about it is I don't have to think about what to eat for breakfast, and I don't eat till lunchtime. It's like eliminates a decision, but also it seems like the health benefits are there. There's only one other thing I'm going to add to what you said, because I actually follow a similar routine. So I have a co-founder who's a marathon runner. Oh my God, she has all these avid fans on Instagram. She gets 1,000 likes, you know, she runs the Honolulu Marathon after delivering whatever. So she's really inspiring. Yes, within 6 months of having a baby, she ran a marathon. And what she taught me, I just want to share because I think it's so interesting. She was in the Air Force. She was a data scientist in the Air Force. And what she learned from there is that your workout is part of your performance at your job. You schedule it like a meeting, like a board meeting. You can't miss it. So on the days where I think to myself, I don't have time to work out, I'll tell her, I'm at the board meeting. Even if it's the middle of the day, like I don't skip my workout anymore, inspired by my, marathon runner co-founder. And it's helpful to have a co-founder like that.
I'm also doing intermediate fasting. So for me, nutrition is actually very important in my routine. So I do intermediate fasting. My eating window is 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then I also try to eliminate sugars and all those things. And the one thing, I did this for over a year, and I find myself so much focused in the morning that I don't need to. Previously, I just cannot stop going to the snack aisles in our office. And I keep snacking and I can't keep doing these things. This way helps me to have focus of time to eat, and then other time I would just focus more. I feel my energy level is going pretty good. And also, I do yoga every night just to wind down. Sometimes you got too many things in your head, and I do some stretching and yoga. It helps me to go to sleep. So I think good sleep, 8-hour sleep is really important as well. So.
Wow, you guys are all so healthy. I try to do a lot of, admittedly being a CEO and founder, I am, I get less sleep than I would like, and I probably work out less than I did before I started the company, but I'm aware of that, and so, I do a couple of things. I strength train. I love lifting weights. I like feeling strong, so that's kind of what I put on my calendar 3 days a week. And then for me, my meditation is really nature and getting outdoors. And so I spend a lot of my time on the weekends mountain biking or skiing, which is a huge passion of mine, and hiking. And then I'm really working. I wake up at 5 a.m. no matter what these days. And so I'm working on going to bed by 10 so I can get not quite 8, but as close to 8 as possible hours of sleep.
Man, you're also healthy. Let's see. Going back to the micro steps, because as I alluded to earlier, when I found this job, I wasn't really looking to go into this health and wellness space, and I had newborn, so I couldn't even think about, oh my God, how can I sleep better? Yeah, tell me. But I would say the micro steps. I'm really doing the micro steps myself, and we're actually launching a product again. I mean, I don't want to do a plug here, but like honestly, when you ask about my routine, it is these micro steps because I'm too busy. So the micro steps that we actually hold each other accountable for at the office, the micro steps that I'm practicing right now is, one, being able to put my phone away 30 minutes before bed. And I mean like away. Like rather it's like outside my bedroom or just away from my nightstand. Being able to do that and unwind, whether it's with a book or just talking to my husband, whatever, and it's not there the first thing I wake up, it's amazing. And I can't change the quantity of my sleep because I have kids and they come in whenever they want and wake me up, but I can change the quality of my sleep by doing these micro steps. And I naturally feel more refreshed. Maybe because my mind is also not racing, like as I'm falling asleep. So that's one micro step that I've been practicing every day. And we're creating products that actually are gonna help you like remind these things and mirroring with the content that we have. But the other micro step that I would say I'm doing is often to what you talked about, how you start your morning. So I'm actually starting my day either by setting the intention of the day or just saying 3 things I'm grateful for. I don't have to say them to my husband out loud, I just say it to myself. Usually my day ends up like 5:30 or 6 a.m. One kid or the other wakes me up and I'm just grateful to be with them. So it's like I'm ending the day being able to unplug and then starting the day with my family and just being grateful, because when you take a moment to be grateful for the things that you have in life, it really changes your mindset and how you frame your mind and how you go about the rest of the day. And so those are the 2 micro steps that I'm practicing each day.
Micro steps are really, really powerful. And I have a friend, she's a neuroscientist. Her name is Dr. Shona Shapiro. And she gave a TED talk on mindfulness and the power of micro steps. And the one powerful quote that I remember from her is, "What we practice grows stronger." And, you know, if we meditate and if we think about like, oh, am I good at meditating? Am I bad at meditating? If we judging ourselves at any point, we are practicing that. And it means that this very activity becomes stronger. So we become stronger at judging ourselves. So I think those micro steps really help you to frame yourself in a really good way. And if you decided to do, for example, mindfulness meditation, 1 minute a day is enough. 1 minute a day is already adding up to this big goal with those micro steps. So thank you so much for all your amazing answers and sharing your wisdom. And we are transferring to our Q&A section. So Katerina, can you please ask somebody to just pass microphones to people who want to ask questions? Thank you. Katerina is our manager, like coordinator for the evening. So she's all over the place and she's awesome. Yeah. Okay, over there.
Hey, I just wanted to say thanks again for like all of your insights. Super helpful. One thing that specifically stuck with me, Jaleh, was you said focused curiosity. I find that one struggle for me is I just want to know everything about everything. It's so hard to like pick something. So what are some steps you took to kind of like focus that curiosity, or maybe it came naturally? I don't know if you have any suggestions.
I agree. It sounds like a contradiction in some ways. I guess here's the frame I would give it, and maybe this would help answer the question. I think, sorry, I've been sick for a week. I'm not contagious anymore, but there's this lingering cough. The way I think about learning and the way I think about like how to focus time at work and stuff is there isn't a shortage of ideas ever. The shortage is in excellence and execution. And so even with learning about your customer, you want to ask yourself, what can I learn that would change my actions? So, and I'm not talking about like reading after work and, you know, reading about 16th century, you know, Italy, which I like to do too. I'm just saying like in a professional setting, the filter I give myself is what would change my actions and what would give the business leverage. So there are some things I can learn that are really nice to know, but someone else can do them. There are other things where if I learned it, the business would be in a different place. Or let's say when talking to customers, there's lots and lots of things that are nice to know about customers. What you actually want to do in advance is write down what are the questions, what are the things that will change my actions based on what I learn, and what do I need to ask to answer those questions. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's really different than just chatting with a customer. Because there's a chasm to cross between what's nice to know and what actually impacts the business.
Yeah.
Does that help frame it a little bit?
Definitely helps answer, yeah, one question. I guess for me personally, it's in like a career sense. Like I've done a lot of different things. I've done like operations, marketing, kind of tons of things, and I mean, I even learned to code. So like I'm just kind of like, I'm trying to figure out how to focus like what I actually like am good at, but I also am interested in, since I'm interested in everything and I can kind of do things, like I can figure out how to do pretty much anything. So like, how do you focus?
Well, you sound pretty handy for a startup.
Yeah, I usually work in startups.
Yeah.
So do a lot of consulting. But I think, I mean, maybe that's just where I sit, I guess. I don't know.
Is there anything you're best at?
I don't know. That's the question. How do I focus it?
Does anyone have any? I'll just say one thing that someone told me once when I was in a similar position, which was to pay attention each day to the thing that gave me the most energy and to do more of that each day, which I found very helpful for focusing because there's a lot of things that gave me energy, but what was the most energy?
That's fair. Awesome.
I can definitely relate to being curious about a lot of things and, you know, wanting to find focus. Some say, you know, are you the jack of all trades and the master of none? And certain, you know, roles are really great for that. Product management being one of them, entrepreneurship obviously being another. But if you really want to find an area of focus, I would say ask the people you've worked with or the people you trust and ask them what they think your strengths are, and then find the intersection of your strength with what you love and what gives you passion and energy.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks so much. Sorry, I didn't mean to ask multiple. Okay. Someone else?
Thank you so much for your insights. My question is, like, what are the biggest challenges that you guys encountered in this industry, and especially as a woman who have been a founder? I believe there are more challenges than men normally. And yeah, just if you can mention one or two would be helpful. Thank you.
Sure, I'll take this one too. I was an engineering undergrad, and I worked in tech, and so I, was a woman amongst like many, many guys in my teams all my life and my career. But I think the challenges are sometimes that you don't necessarily relate to the guys as much, or maybe they don't give you as much respect. But that's something that you have to personally manage if that's what you feel. Because I think once you can relate to them on that level and prove that you are just as good as a guy in being proficient and being, professional, then you're one of them, So I think this happens in tech teams, also in finance, a lot of other kinds of fields where women are in the minority.
Yeah, I would say there are many things, but I would boil it down to, especially like through mentoring a lot of women in a women in product organization, I would say one is, it seems like oftentimes what I see, and I think I did this myself, is that women often tend to be less confident in ourselves than equivalent males would be confident about themselves. So you think about your career and you're applying for jobs, oftentimes, especially on the hiring side, you would see underqualified males applying for the job, whereas like you would never see that with women because we innately would want to make sure like, oh, let me see every qualification, let me like check every single mark, and then like I apply for it. And so I oftentimes am aware of this on the hiring side. And I think as then for a woman, like as the applicant side, as a job seeker side, I think you need to take those bolder moves. So it's not just applying for jobs, it's just more like in general, rather it's, hey, do I want to go and be a product manager now, but I've only been like an engineer all my life, or do I want to go into health and wellness now, but I've only been in fintech? It doesn't matter. Like people transition all the time. And so just making sure that you're aware and being mindful of like how your male counterpart might be able to be up for these jobs and these challenges, but then like you're not because you're holding yourself back. I would say that's one. And I was too like an engineer by trade. I think I graduated in 2000, so there were like in electrical engineering, a class of 300 people, I think there were like 5 women or something like that. Like it was really small. So just making sure that you're aware of that kind of behavior that like typically like men would do. I would say second thing, and I'll keep it short, is on the founder side, because I see so many founders in the organization and also from investment side, women are pitching to me. It's again, that kind of confidence and being able to sell. Rather it's like your skill set or your business or like where you're going to take your company or your vision, just practice that and never start a meeting by saying, sorry, but I apologize for this, but like just go, and just really be able to create that brand. Like for yourself, even like you said, I don't know what I'm good at. I know it's there. And then it's just finding that story to tell, for yourself to others. And it's okay to like do many different things at the same time. But as you look at like, if you were to evaluate a company and look at a competitive landscape, for instance, like you can do that for yourself too, and then look at like, where are my strengths that's like innate to me? What are skill sets that's innate to me? How am I going to differentiate myself? So I think those 2 points may be more similar than different, but I wanted to be able to at least address like in general and then as a founder.
Thank you.
Hi, and yeah, thank you so much for your answers to the question. It's amazing to see so many accomplished women in the room, and yeah, especially it was super nice to hear about your dreams and realize that so many of you are actually in such a good place right now that you don't even have these big dreams. But my question is, what is the advice that you would give yourself, let's say maybe 10 years ago, when you probably didn't have the same situation?
Me, 10 years ago, I'm still in school. But then I think because I'm a woman and also I'm growing up in China, so my education always tells me to do really good of what I do, but be humble and don't speak up. And then when I came to States for school and for work, I learned a lot of people similar to me, they are really good at what they do, like you said, but they are not confident. And when opportunity comes, they doubt. They said, maybe, yeah, I can do this, but maybe he looks more confident. He might do this better. So I think if I was in that position too, and I see myself missed so many good opportunities, and I was told myself, don't be afraid. When opportunity comes, grab it. There's a reason it comes to you. And when you grab it, even if it fails, I think I learned more when I do it and fail. I have more realizations after. If I never do that, I never make it, I never know what it's be like, even being like failing. So that's something I would tell myself 10 years ago.
I think it's actually probably pretty similar. What you were saying a moment ago is something that I've been doing for 20 years in my career, and I'm very comfortable selling what I know I can do, but less comfortable, like confidently going after the thing that I really want to do and have the vision to do. And so I think it's, for me, just getting very comfortable in your own skin at a young age, and being okay with that, who that is, and being willing to step beyond what feels comfortable would probably be my biggest advice, yeah.
My mom came to the States not really knowing much English, and she became a very successful entrepreneur in her own right. And the one thing that I learned from her that always stuck with me is she always used to say, you never try, you never know. And she definitely tried and tried and failed and tried and tried and failed. And so that's something that I would definitely tell myself when I was younger, when I was a little bit more afraid to fail. You know, I think I was an overachiever, and so I would do the things, you know, like you said, that I knew I could be great at, versus putting yourself out there. You're young, you have time to fail, so that's something you should try to do. Fail fast and learn quickly and move on.
I mean, I would echo a lot of that, and obviously to what I was talking about earlier. But I think if I were to look back 10 years ago, I would also give myself the advice to not try to, one, always looking for like approval and acceptance in whatever areas that I'm pursuing, rather it's like, you know, career or even life. You know, like at that moment, I hadn't met my husband yet. Like I didn't even know if I was gonna get married ever. And quite frankly, I did kind of care, and I prioritized like dating, trying to like, you know, find the right person. And I'm like, looking back, I probably didn't need to really care about it that much, because it naturally happens. Of course, you have to prioritize and make time for it. But I felt like I was always trying to figure out like, okay, I'm at this age, I should be like doing X, Y, Z. And I would like let go of that. You know, that would be like the first thing. And then I would say the second thing is being more open to asking questions when I didn't know the answer. It's okay. It's okay to ask questions. You don't have to try to figure things out. You don't have to be afraid of how people are going to judge you. It's really a matter of how you're asking it. If you're asking it in a context that's like intelligent, that you just want to learn, it doesn't show that you're weak, you know? And so I think those two things, in addition to what I was talking about earlier, I would have really wanted to practice that like 10 years ago.
Last question.
Thank you all so much for being here tonight and sharing all your insights. Really, really appreciate it. I am a massage therapist. I made a big leap 3 years ago from sales and marketing into massage for my own self-healing and transformation. And I was quite the workaholic in the office atmosphere, super successful, and wasn't happy. So I made a change, and I'm bringing that to others in the office space, so doing in-office wellness programs. I've been working at this for the last 3 years, and so I've worked with some really magnificent companies, but I'm finding that I am doing way too much as like an entrepreneur, all the things. And I guess I'm asking, when is it time to reach out to others to help with, resources? I've done that, but there's like, I don't know how to vet all the various branding companies that are out there. I don't necessarily have the finances to support. So I don't know if I need funding. Like, how do you decide if you need funding, or how to get these resources, or how to vet these other companies for help, or even find a partner?
Well, I'm happy to speak to that from at least starting the woman product nonprofit perspective, because in 2016, when we got together, it was just like me and a few other like female product leaders that had dinner in May, and all we wanted to do was throw one event. Like, we were like, oh, how hard could that be? Let's just like throw an event for product managers, like female, because we'd never had that. And so we agreed on it, and we got commitment from Facebook to sponsor the venue, for 300 people in September. Well, I did the Squarespace website, and like we launched it in July, and we had 4,000 registrants in a week. So we knew the demand was there. We had to go through with the conference. But after that, after the conference, I guess similarly, because we all felt so passionate about it, but we all have full-time jobs, all moms, to be quite frankly, and we're doing a spare time, we're like, okay, does this mean we have to take the company to the next level? Do we need to get funding? Do we need to hire people? Like, what does that mean? And at least from my experience, it sounds like you are at the point where if you can't financially get more help, or at least get volunteers to help, like whatever way you want to incentivize others in helping you, you probably do need to like fundraise. Now that's just like from one experience and what I'm hearing like just in like 2 minutes. Of course, we should dig deeper into that. But you should either find ways to incentivize without money for someone to join you and help you, whatever help you need to do. And or you need to like financially reward that person. And or maybe you could do a rev share, like when you get business, you like share with this person. I'm not sure what your situation is, but I definitely hearing like the scale matters, and so you're definitely gonna need to look into that. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks everybody who asked the question. And can we have a next slide, Katarina? Awesome. So hopefully you got what you wanted, and you will have an opportunity to network with our speakers and with our partners after this final little part. And our final little part was thank you to our food partner, Territory Foods. Hi, Tess. Thanks for being here. Thanks for catering all this beautiful food, totally organic, and they source from the best sources, like they're trying to do it local. So I really appreciate their efforts. And we have a special promotion with the code SuperGirls SF, like $25 credit. Somebody wants to use it for to take a photo of the slide. We also have lovely kombucha, like GD's kombucha. They literally sponsor every single event that I put out. So I'm really appreciative of them. and I really love their flavors, and they just launched adaptogen series, so like not the kombucha, but the adaptogen blends, and I love adaptogens, like the herbs which really help you to kind of like boost your immune system. And if you have strong immune system, you know, nothing can really trigger you in terms of illnesses or diseases. Yeah, and I also want to thank you all volunteers. Can you please stand up, all amazing volunteers that we have tonight? Don't be shy, just stand up. Stand up, a round of applause. Awesome, thank you so much. You're our community. Without you, this event won't be possible. And we have our photographer, Jasmine. Jasmine, she's a founder of her own company. It's called Coffee and Tech Media Company, and she always kindly takes photos at all our events, and she does a really great job. So also talk to her. And what else? Katarina. Yeah, big round of applause to Katarina. She's the coordinator and manager and almost part of SuperGirls team already, because she's helping us all the time. Yes, and thank you so much. It's really, really beautiful atmosphere, and I can't wait personally to talk to all of you, because I really love meeting new people. And yeah, thank you so much. Let's just give a round of applause for our panelists.